inside the building now. So we paired up our DFC6 from the Connect CU6. So they're always labeled together. So CU1 would be DFC1, okay? The top of the stat is labeled. We have our on-off feature, so we see a green light up here, so we're on. By pressing it, we're off. Every other feature is locked. The last time I tried to lock the on-off feature, sometimes we could struggle on auto reboots if you lock that feature. So it's been unlocked, but just make sure that when you come in, it is on, okay? Our green light's on. All these features are disabled, so you can't go into the menu, you can't go into any of the features for normal people. The construction people like to push the buttons. So to get into the menu, you hold menu for 10 seconds, and that'll get rid of the operation lock. Feels like it takes forever. Okay? And then our administrator password is going to be 0. It's stuck at 1,000, so we go down, and we do select. Okay, so now we just unlocked that feature, okay? So this is the main menu now, operation here. This is a temporary lever adjustment. Pretty much we don't need to do anything in operation mode. If you wanted to make a timer, these rooms are 24/7. I wouldn't recommend adding a timer, but there's a timer feature. Energy saving mode. It's more for like if this unit's at your house. Actually, energy savings is also where our restrictions are. So in energy savings at the top is restriction. This is where, for our drawings, they wanted these rooms at 70. To me, that's pretty low for an electrical room. In the future, if you guys need to increase that, you'd want to go into the energy and then the restriction. Temperature range, you can go down. So we have to get into temperature range first. Again, it's administrator is going to be 0s. So now we have the ability to turn on and off the temperature range. It's on yes and it's stuck at 70. So we move the cursor down and the low limit. You probably don't want to do any, you can probably raise both of them. But again, the temperature adjustment is turned off right now. If in the future you guys want to turn it on and have a range, I couldn't see why you need a range, right? Like whatever one temperature you want in here, you know, you could just set it for that. Again, during construction, a lot of people like pushing buttons, so I locked it out to what seemed appropriate. But anyway, it's cool heating, so if you wanted it to be higher, you'd have to change the upper one up to like 75, 76, whatever you guys want for that setting. But just make sure that the right side is your high limit, the left is your low limit. Heating, we're not using heating, all these units are set up for cooling only. So I'm just going to go return to get out of this one. And now we're back at the restriction page. So since temperature range isn't selected, we could go page down. So this is where you can change your operation locks. Okay. So you have the operation to lock. Remember, don't lock the on-off feature because the units are set up for auto restart. But with these units, sometimes on like generator testing back and forth, if it's in operation lock, it won't reboot automatically and go into automatic like on mode. So don't lock the on-off feature. Mode is blacked out, so you can't change it from cooling to heating. Again, these are locked and cooling only right now for our drawings. There's no reason to heat this electric room. Set temperature is locked, and then the menu is locked. And I showed you guys how to get out of the menu. It's important you hold the menu button down for like 10 seconds. It takes forever. Okay? But you can lock out the fan and the louver adjustments, all that. I don't see a need for that. But this is how you can change that part of those settings. Okay? So we're just pressing return to go back to the previous menu. Initial settings, that would be like adjusting your clock and stuff like that. Again, it's going to be 0s for the administrator password. You can change what's on the display and stuff like that. Can't see why you need to do any of that. If somehow we do lose, if we do, these new units, they used to come programmed Celsius always, but that would be in your display details. You can change that. So you can change the formatting of the crop. If for some reason you guys like Celsius better, this is where you would change that feature. If you can see the room temp or not, I would just leave it yes. Contrast, brightness, and language, if you guys needed to change those. Operation settings, we don't need to make any adjustments there. Maintenance, this is where you do your filter. You can check errors up here. So right now we have no error information, which is good. You would see an error and the light would be blinking for an error. So filter resetting would be in your filter information. So there'll be a little display, an icon that shows here. It looks kind of like a filter. If you see that, it means it's time to change the filter, or to clean the filter again. Once you clean the filter, you could reset that little error by pressing the reset button. If you need to clean just the screen, there's a clean feature here to do that. And then the service menu is for like an actual service tech to do diagnostic testing like that. Okay, I just press return to get all the way back out. We're in cooling mode. We see operation lock here. The vane position right here, our time, the day, and fan. So fan has the adjustment. There's a little twirly right here. That's an auto feature. So the further away from set point, the higher it spins the fan. So that'd be good energy savings. If you just want the fan to be on, this is like, I think that's low, medium, high, and then auto. Okay? Energy savings in auto, the cooler it is and the closer to set point, it slows the fan down. None of these spaces have been crazy where like, I'm like, oh my god, we need to run the fan at high speed all the time. Okay? Because as the room heats up, the fan speed will increase automatically. Any questions on this one? Okay. So the filter is going to be underneath that cover. There's a tab on both sides. You'll pop that open and it's washable. They're factory washable filters. Are you guys familiar with this type of screen? It's like that green. Normally these ones are green. Trains are green. Screen. Yeah, black and green. Yeah, I've seen both. Yeah. Actually, yeah, maybe even gray. Anyways, it's that screen material. I would recommend. This is when you can turn the unit off. Anytime you remove a filter out of a unit, the fan coil air handlers, you want to turn the unit off first, just so that the debris and the dust that's in the unit, when you try to pull it out, it doesn't fall off the filter and get sucked right into the coil. Or else you'll have an even worse job of trying to clean coils. Okay? So whenever you're changing filters, make sure the unit's off. Again, you can do that down here with this button. Do not, unless it's an emergency, turn off that switch up there. Remember, these units are powered from the outdoor unit. So if you don't have power on the stack, and you're here, if you did the verify power in there is on L1, L2, but ultimately up on the roof. You want to make sure your disconnect has power, then the incoming L1, L2, and then like technically actually this labeling is S1, S2, and you pick up at S3. The S3 is a communication type, okay? It uses, it's like 56 to 90, it's like a DC voltage signal coming on that S3 line. So you pick that up, but you want to mostly make sure that your S1, S2 has 208, and then we'd have to get support from everyone else. From Train themselves, I can't remember the voltage we're supposed to be getting from S3 to ground and all that. There's different ways to measure it, but we'd have to contact fix it. But anyways, just know that if this unit in here is empowered, the condensate pumps, none of that are tied into the unit itself. It's just powered directly from the outer unit. So if you flip the switch down here, you're going to get a communication error on the stack because the unit in here can't communicate with the outdoor unit. Then you have to if you get that communication error down here, you have to go up to the roof and reset power for like 15 minutes. So cycle power for 15 minutes, let all the capacitors, let the unit die, and then you can turn it back on and come back down and make sure the unit's booted back up. If the switch is on, right? Make sure that switch is back on. That's just like a local, if the unit's smoking, you can turn off power that way. It's a 3-pole switch. Okay. Again, condensate pump here, so we're gravity draining to the pump and pumping out. Again, none of these condensate pumps except the main electric room are on E-power. questions in here? Cool. First floor electric room.